Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Mic'd Up. This is Anya Gupta, your host for the day. And today we have an amazing personality with us, Mr. Pushkar Shrestha. How are you, sir?
I am doing good. Thank you for making time and thank you for having me.
Thank you for being here.
Good.
Could you start by introducing yourself and your work in the field of education and urban development?
Yep. So my name is Pushkar, and I have been working in the education sector since
Mm-hmm.
2006 in an organization called Room to Read. And before that, I was working in an organization called Center for Integrated Urban Development that focuses on mainly urban development, but my role was to work with the students to make them aware about environment related issues and train the teachers such as rainwater harvesting and composting and all that. But I will be talking more about that professionally. I work currently in an organization called Room to Read, which is an international organization working in the sector of education. But I studied environmental engineering when I was in college. So with that, but my interest when I was in school and in college, interest was my dream was towards helping school system in
That's
Nepal
right.
and also students in rural areas and villages of Nepal. That was sort of like a dream that I had when I was growing up. Let's say
That's
I'm
right.
not that old though, but yeah,
We've already seen that you've given a lot to
yeah.
the education sector with your work with Room to Read as well. So many of our viewers know what Room to Read is, but some of them don't know
Hmm.
what its mission is, what it actually does. So could you please explain to our viewers what it does?
Sure. So, Room to Read started from Nepal, and we are very proud of that. Is very few organizations, international organizations that started from Nepal and expanded to different countries, right? So currently we work in 29 different countries, which started from a school in Bahundara
Mhm.
in Lamjung district of Nepal and currently works in 29 different countries. And as a Nepali, I feel really proud, and my team's also very proud of that. We have benefited more than 50 million children around the world with education, which started from Nepal in a small library in a village called Bahundana. So in Nepal itself, speaking in Nepal, we have benefited more than 4 million children and helped train more than 30,000 teachers in government
Mhm.
schools of Nepal. So primarily what we focus on is educating children through literacy. Now when I say literacy, it's children literacy in a primary grades where children cannot read Nepali. Okay, so that's where we come in. We realize that we help set up libraries, but children were not being able to read. So we have two programs under literacy, which is developing children's reading skills in Nepali and hence developing their reading habit through school libraries. So that's the first program that we do. So children can become independent readers by the time they finish the grade 5. And the second program is a gender equality program under which we work with children, especially focusing on the girls, developing their skills in under life skills. So then girls can finish their secondary education. That the program starts from grade 6 and goes until grade 12, preparing them with life skills, training the teachers so then they can become independent once they graduate with necessary life skills to tackle the problems of the world. So that's the second program that we do.
Okay, we know that shaping the education sector, improving the education sector, especially in Nepal, is very critical,
Mhm.
right? So, what are the challenges do you think that the children are already facing in Nepal today in relation to their education?
Okay, that's a very good question. So I can speak. Let me be a little more focused on when we say education.
Hmm.
It's a vast,
Yes.
so it
Yes.
starts from ECD, goes up to universities.
Hmm.
So let me be a little more specific and focused. Working with Room to Read, what we've realized is children cannot read once you go into villages and rural areas, especially community schools and government schools. Children are not being able to read, right? So what do I mean by that is by the time children This is a government study of 2020. Children, 10% of the children who finishes grade 3 cannot even read a single word, like comprehend that. And we are privileged to like you guys have this wonderful school and you have libraries. But then again, children not being able to read is where room to read started focusing on developing reading skill of children. So with that, then now the girls or this other program that we have is when girls reaches certain age, then they are expected to do household work, right? So with that, then they start falling behind by the time they are in grade 8, and they start dropping out by the time grade 9. So that's the problem that we envision at Room to Read. Now, the problems in education systems are large. Our teachers are stretched when you go into south part of the country, where in Tarai, what happens is there are many children in classrooms, and the children's are schools are overcrowded, classrooms are overcrowded, and teachers are shorthanded. But when you go up to the mountains or the mid hills, what happens is there then the students' number are less. So this is a big challenge for the government as well, and we do have a new government and wonderful, very energetic new education minister. So we're thinking about working with him as well. But the problem that I say, critically looking at it from the perspective of grade 1 through 5 and focusing on literacy program, children cannot read. Teachers are not trained to deliver. Teachers don't understand that they are facilitators, right? They need to facilitate and help those children. Let me put it in the perspective. I'm gonna be a little more specific here. When you see a classroom, let's say you have 20 students in a classroom. Generally, classrooms you'll have 4 or 5 students that are very good,
Yes.
like you guys, right? So they're very good. They're front. They will do their homeworks on time. But there are students who are like 7, 8 students, right, who are falling behind. But the teachers need to understand that. In a school like Premier School, people understand that. Teachers understand that. Management understand that. But the problem with the government schools, as you go into villages, is teachers are not properly trained in that matter. So, with my understanding and what I've learned through Room to Read is that is one of the part that government need to look into it, and that is one of the challenges that we see at the school level.
So we need to improve on, training our teachers in a certain way, and then, yeah, basically the teachers, right?
Exactly, teachers, and also another part that we need to think of when we see teachers, parents play a very big role, and the areas that we work in, and also most of the government schools and community schools are there in the rural areas and villages. Parents are not literate. So what happens with them is now they mostly they are daily laborers, and after that then they are not literate. So then what happens once the children come back from school, there's no help at home. Like you guys are privileged to have great parents who are helping you when you come home. So one is teachers, second is parents. Now the teachers also get stretched, right? They can only help so much in the classroom and in the schools itself. So the problem is training the teachers and also working with the parents is something that we as community need to figure it out and work with the government to come up with solutions to solve that problem of training teachers at the same time making sure that children are being helped at that level through parents.
I think I say it on behalf of all of us when I say that we're very privileged and we're grateful for having our parents who help us at home and having this kind of quality education. So we're very grateful for that. And then, as you talked about girls, right? We can see that there was a literacy rate of about 2 to 5% when we see Nepal in previous context. But then right now it has increased. I would say it has increased very much. But then still in rural areas, in villages, people prioritize to send boys to school over girls. Why do you think that is, and how can we improve that?
Okay, so that's a very good question. I'll connect with what I
Hmm.
was saying earlier. It's parents' education, right? So most of the parents who send their children to government schools are daily laborers.
Yes.
Um, Not all, but most of them, majority of them. So then they feel that in the villages and the rural areas that uh, educating male child would benefit the communities more. So what we need to think about in a situation like that is inform how can we inform parents. Now most of the parents cannot read or
Yes.
write, right? So then one of the studies have shown to inform that this is a World Bank study that
Hmm.
minimal cost, so then sending them text saying that girls' education is equally important as boys' education, right? So with that, then generally what tends to happen is once girls reach a certain age, they'll need to start helping at home, and then their grades will drop, and with that, then they'll drop out
Hmm.
of the school system, and they will be what will they do? There'll be an early marriage, right? I
Yes.
mean, children as young as 15, 16 years old. How old are you,
I'm 16.
right? So can you imagine you getting married and in a
I
couple of
honestly
years
can.
you're having a children, right? So that privilege that you have and the students of the school and in urban areas, and so that privilege that we have, we should celebrate that, and
Hmm.
and we should think about how can we contribute in that sector as you guys grow up, right? So the problem that I see is parents education, but then again resources come into play,
Hmm.
right? When we talk about parents education now, if parents who are daily laborers need to let's say not go to work, so they'll miss that earning, so they live day
Hmm.
by day, hence the daily workers, right? So then how do we cannot call them for trainings. I mean, they don't have time to come to schools, so they need to make money to feed end to end. So with that, then how do we overcome that is something that we really need to think about. How do
Hmm.
we educate them so they send their daughters to schools as in gen they need to feel in their heart that it's their children,
Hmm.
both boys and girls, so they need to send the girl child to school as well and make sure that they have time at home to study as her brother and their son, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So, you have worked with Room to Read for
Hmm.
many, many years,
Yeah.
right? I'm sure you might have connected with some of the children that you've worked
Yeah.
with. Are there any stories that you would like to share with
Yeah.
us? That.
So there are many stories, but I'll tell you about a story about a girl named Lubina. She's from a Shangja district, and her parents, again,
Hmm.
um, are daily laborers, and they came in to one of the villages that we had helped build a library in partnership with the schools and the government. So, Room to Read publishes this wonderful children's book. I'm not sure you guys saw that in library when you guys went to school here, are going to school here, but you guys are grown up now. But these are focused on grade 1 through 5. And Lubina came into the library and saw those wonderful books. She couldn't read. She couldn't read when she came into the school. And then Room to Read has a program in that school. And Lubina started going through she came in grade 1 and going through the books. I mean, these are wonderful books. I should have brought some and showed it to you guys, but it's online as well. And she started going through it, and we have a program through that where I was talking about earlier about reading skill development. With that, then she started learning how to read, right? After you learn how to read, then you start enjoying the books. And this was grade 1. Fast forward, in grade 3 she read 1,500 books. 1,500 books. And by the time she reached grade 3, now Lovina is in grade 5 now. She loves
Hmm.
it, and she's one of the advocates. And the important part is by the time she was in grade 3, her parents wanted to move from the village because they moved to make When they find job, they move out of the village and they go and. But she wouldn't budge. She said, "You guys can move. I will stay here, sleep in the
Mhm.
library, and I just love this place. I will stay here." So there are many stories like Lubina's. There's
Mhm.
Pratik, where her his parents, saw the library and wanted to help Pratik, and they built a library in the house for him. You could borrow books from these libraries where Room to Read works, right?
Mhm.
Room to Read supports the school system. So with that, then there's so those are the and Pratik has these wonderful books and has a library in his home, built by his parents. And if such things escalates and goes beyond the villages,
Mhm.
and beyond the areas, and it will really help the children. Now, next story is this is really exciting. Reshu, in our girls' education program, I talked to her a couple of weeks ago. I talked to her a couple of weeks ago. She was in our girls' education program. Her parents didn't have any money to send her to school. Room to Do came in, helped her. Now she's graduated. She finished her bachelor's
Oh.
degree. Now she's working in one of the organizations that Room to Read supports. She's a social mobilizer. And I
Mhm.
was talking to her. She was saying that, literally, she was saying that I cannot find job. Either I go out of the country to find a job, and she applied. She was going to go to South Korea, or she was going to Japan, different places, and luckily there was a vacancy. She applied, she got in, and now she's helping the children the way that she got help with the support from Room to
It's like
Read.
a full circle. She started with Room to
Exactly.
Read and she ended up
Now, isn't
with.
that amazing? And there's
Yes.
Chandani. Right?
Mhm.
Chandani is a government worker. She finished her Lok Seva. She's working in, she's working in one of the government offices with this
Mhm.
Nepal flag and big chair, and she's helping other children become what she is today.
Mhm.
So that's very exciting. So there are a lot of stories like that. There's a few that came to my mind. Narash.
Yes. These are very inspiring stories.
Yep.
If other people heard them, they would also, want to help out. You mentioned that you built libraries, like
Mm-hmm.
as a part of Room to Read. What are some other, maybe some campaigns or some efforts that you've put to improve girls' education, not only girls' education,
Mm-hmm.
but education in general
Yeah.
in Nepal?
Yeah. So look, reading is very important,
Mm-hmm.
right? So reading is important, and then again, you need to know how to read, right?
Yes.
So that's very important. What we do is reading mela, so we
Mm-hmm.
do reading melas in we last year we did reading mela in Salyan,
Mm-hmm.
in partnership with the municipalities, municipal government,
Yes.
palikas. So it's palikas in partnership. So we show them that we have a model uh, for sustaining the effort that we are doing is what we call it. It's called I do, we do, and you do it.
Mm-hmm.
So this is the partnership model that we work with the schools, teachers, governments, and especially palikas. Right. So what do I mean by that? Is Room to Read as an organization shows the students and the teachers and the palikas that what do we know? What are we expert on with our numerous years of experience? With that, then after that, then we partner. We share budget with the government, right? So with that, then we do it together.
Mm-hmm.
And after that, then the government need to take the ownership of that and they need to take it forward. Be it life skills and girls education program, be it school libraries, be it uh, the children's book that we publish, and so it is. We also need to think about how do we sustain what we do.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the part that we come in where. Be it life skills training through teachers in schools, be it establishing libraries, and be it producing and publishing these wonderful children's books.
Mm-hmm.
So the whole idea is we need to sustain and take it forward what we know in partnership with the government and schools and teachers.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So the government plays a big role in sustaining what you've established, right?
Yes. I mean that. Look, we as an international organization, I work for Room to Read,
Mm-hmm.
and I have a passion in education. I want to help. But then again, it is government's job, right? It
Yes.
is government schools. They are government teachers. So
Hmm.
what we are coming in, we have our expertise that we think that we know and we can help. So how to make teachers more like facilitators? How do we share our life skills curriculum,
Hmm.
right? Life skills like how do we make youths and adolescents become more good communicator, good
Yes.
decision
Hmm.
makers, right? How can we make them resilient? How can we make them more confident, right? So that's the life skills component that we work with. So we want the government to take. I shouldn't say we want. We want to partner with the government to take this thing, this what
Forward.
we knew
Yes.
forward, right? In partnership, that we can sustain
Hmm.
what we're doing.
So, room to read takes strong devotion. Was
Hmm.
there a moment when you realized, okay, now I want to work in the education sector? I want to work with children, and I want to improve the education sector in Nepal.
Okay. Look, this was 2006.
Hmm.
I studied in the U.S. and then I'd come back, um, and then met my wife Elena,
Yes.
and we have a wonderful two kids, Pratyush and Prabhat. Both of them went to school here. I was working as an environmental engineer, working in schools, government school, training teachers in terms of um, how to take care of the environment in the school and at home. Like for example, rainwater harvesting. How do we do that? Why do we do it?
Hmm.
Composting. I mean, you see a lot of a lot of waste, and the places are dirty. But then again, how do we take care of it, right? So I trained the teachers. I trained teachers. I worked in the school system, but that didn't work. I realized by the time I was this was 2005ish and early
Hmm.
2006, and I just found this a wonderful organization, Room to Read, and I know founders very well. And I read this book called Microsoft to Bahundana.
Hmm.
So written by our one of our founders, John Wood, and I read that book and I wanted to join that organization and see how I can help. What I've realized is that as an environmental engineer, I was trying to do a lot of different things in the school system, but that did not work. They did not have a library where children can go and read about what can they do, how can they contribute, how can they learn. So they didn't have that. And there's a wonderful organization which was just upcoming at that time. 2006 was the year, and at that time I realized that I wanted to join this organization, help the founders to take it forward. So since
Hmm.
then my journey began in the sector of education.
Yes, that's a very long time.
Yeah.
You've also worked in the urban development
Yeah.
sector. So, what are some of the experiences that you've taken with you that have helped you improve your leadership style?
Look, at the end of the day, we all work with people,
Yes.
right? We have to realize that. So that's as a leader, where I manage people. I've worked with a lot of communities. I've done a lot of work with the parents and governments. At the end
Hmm.
of the day, it is people that we work with. So my
Yes.
leadership, I would say, would be how do we understand people? How do we understand where do they come from? Until we understand people, we will not be able to deliver results, right? At the end of the day, it is people, their problems, their ways of decision making. So we need to understand that. And that's what I've realized is that you need to be humble,
Hmm.
right? One is that, and helping people connect. Mm. That's very important. That's one of the things that I've learned during my years, be it urban development, be it education. I'm also in the private sector. Um, Connecting with people, understanding them, the background they come from, and and the issues and the problems they might have.
Hmm.
With that, then you can start thinking about how can I solve.
Yes.
At the end of the day, as a leader, you have to come up with solutions and take decisions quickly.
Yes, that is great advice for our young viewers as well. You mentioned you work in the private sector as well. So the for-profit businesses, especially in Nepal, what is, do you have any comments on that? What is the scope, especially in Nepal? Because, we see that young entrepreneurs, they usually want to go out of the country and they want to start businesses elsewhere. But then what is the scope in Nepal?
Look, there's tremendous scope in Nepal.
Mm-hmm.
With the changes in the government now, there's a tremendous scope in Nepal. Um, you need patience.
Yes.
Okay, in the business sector for profit, you need patience. Um, Nepal is with the new government in place. I'm hopeful. I'm positive, right? So, uh, but then again, if you have a choice of learning and going out to become entrepreneur and going out and learning, that's good.
Mm-hmm.
But if you want to do something in the country, it is possible. There will be failures. So I'll talk about my for-profit venture. I'd left Room to Read in 2012 to start something of my own. I've put this wonderful resort called Gorkha Gaon Resort, which is a very sustainable ways of thinking, giving back to the community. We hire locally, we train locally. So it's a great entrepreneurship, and it is an example for youths as well. It is possible that, but there will be failures. One of the things that I'd like to share with you and
Mm-hmm.
with what do you guys call
Yes.
primarians, with like that, it is possible to do and achieve results in Nepal, but there will be failures. Or you have to be focused. You have to be determined, and you know. One of the things that I just remembered is that if you aim for the stars, then you might land up on the roof. There's a famous saying. But
Yes.
if you aim for the roof, you will be in the gutter. So then, what you need to think of as Nepali citizens here in Nepal, it is doable. There'll be challenges, but then again, you need to figure out your pathways. How do you want to achieve that? There's another great saying that you have to aim and follow your path, but you have to be focused and determined. And it is possible in Nepal.
Mm-hmm.
And with my venture, there was a big earthquake in
Mm,
2015,
15.
and that was in Gorkha. And here I was, a pretty young guy by then. I didn't have all those gray hairs, but um, and there was an earthquake. I remember being underneath that table, and the stones were falling down on that table. I helped myself. I walked out the building, and I was pinching myself, saying that, is this happening to me? How can this be happening to me? There was like some prediction, like 100 years earthquake and all that stuff was going on. But what I'm trying to explain to young folks is that it is possible. You have to be determined. You have to be focused. There are too many distractions around. I shared this with Prabhat as well. There are too
Yes.
many, and I share with you guys that there are too many distractions around. But if you focused, it is doable in Nepal. There are a lot of opportunities, and as I said, um, you have to aim high.
Mm-hmm.
You have to aim high, and it's possible.
Yes, so patience and having high goals is
Yeah, and focus, right? And
focus,
and you
yes.
cannot. But there are too many distractions around, and being
Mm-hmm.
focused is very very important. And being patient, and also, and I'll tell you, you guys are very privileged to have right coaches, right teachers, right facilitators in the schools like Premier,
Mm-hmm.
right? Take advantage of that. Take advantage of that. You need a good coach. Your parents are there. Sometimes you read your age and you go, I mean, what do you guys know, right?
Yes.
So with that, then, but you need good coaches, and I'm very glad that Premier has been helping students. I know for a fact that Prabhat's been getting a lot of help, and I'm sure you guys are getting
Yes.
help as well. So that's very important. Having good facilitators as teachers and guides and
Mm-hmm.
coaches. My suggestion is, I wish, I had when I was old as you guys are. I wish I had coaches and guides who were giving me inputs like the way that I'm talking to
Mm-hmm.
you guys right now. I did not have that. So my suggestion, find those people, come out of your comfort zone. Find those people who can give you direction. You can. There's so much resources here. You can find those. I mean, reading wise, right? I mean, the internet, the AI. So with that, find right people who can guide you and push yourself. Don't be in a comfort zone if you want to. Um, you know, I don't know what your dream is. Buy those Ferrari or, or whatever you like to do. But then again, you have to be focused in terms of what I say is to kids is that um, you cannot have one pathways here and do other thing and think that I will just automatically fall into that pathway, meaning let's say you want to buy a, I don't know, a yacht, a Ferrari, or something like that. But then again, if you're going in another direction and thinking that you want this, then that's not going to happen. So my advice: find those guidance, find those coaches, and follow it through. That's what I meant to say: is aim and follow it through.
Yes, that is very helpful advice.
Mhm.
So now we have a fun rapid fire round.
Okay.
Okay. So we will be starting.
Mm.
One book that shaped the way you think.
I'll have to say, leaving Microsoft to change the world.
Okay.
Mm.
A small habit that makes a big difference in your life.
Uh, Waking up early, making sure that I do my exercise on time.
Hmm. A place in Nepal that inspires you.
I have to say Gorkha.
Okay. Your biggest inspiration.
Um, I have to give my credit to my wife Elena
Okay.
and my kids as well. Yeah.
One quality you admire most in young people.
Um, their determination.
Hmm.
Mm.
A book you think every teenager should read.
Mm. There's a good book by Sujeev Sake, Unleashing Nepal.
Hmm.
That I think every teenager should read.
What gives you hope when things feel challenging?
Um, Thinking about possibilities.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay. One quality you think today's youth have more than any generation before.
Hmm. Abundance amount of resources. Abundance amount
That
of.
is true.
Yeah.
One message you'd like to give to students watching this on YouTube.
Um, have fun in life, but be focused and make sure that you, at the end of the day, you help communities that
Hmm.
you are from or beyond.
Advice for people starting businesses in Nepal.
As I said, aim high,
Hmm.
be focused, be determined, and make sure that the pathways is clear. But then again, you review properly. So then again, changes can be made on timely manner on your
Hmm.
business plan.
Okay, that's it for our rapid fire round. So moving on,
Mhm.
right? What is your long-term vision for the education sector in Nepal?
Right. Look, with Room to Read, we have a new strategy, and this is what we are working on:
Hmm.
reaching more children more quickly. How can we do that? So that is only possible when we work with the government. We have a new government in place, um, working with the government to ensure that every child in Nepal can read and the girl child can graduate from 12th grade.
Hmm.
So the children being able to read, I mean, it's a very vast thing, but as a whole, what I see is in Nepal, the longer term goal is, I'd say, eradicating illiteracy
Hmm.
and gender inequality in Nepal.
Yes, that is a necessity,
Yeah,
especially looking in South Asian
yeah,
countries, especially in Nepal, India. So that is great, for a vision. And let's talk about success.
yeah.
Success as a term, in my opinion, has a very fluid definition.
Hmm.
What is the definition of success for you?
It is fluid, right? So success for me is, say, family comes first to me,
Hmm.
and having a content happy family is very important for me. That is one of the success that I would say. And second is, I think, being able to help the communities in Nepal where children can read, girls graduate from schools, and also they being able to help the communities and giving back, as I was talking about Reshu and Chandani
Hmm.
earlier. So that's success for me.
Yes. Is there any advice that you would like to give our young viewers who want to work in the social sector, who want to create a social impact?
Yeah, so I think on that part, my suggestion would be, look, figure out what you want to do. I mean, it's going to take years, but with that, then what moves you,
Mm-hmm.
right? Is it education? Is it health? Is it which part of the social sector that moves you? And you have to be passionate about what you do if you're coming into social sector. I mean, money will come, right?
Mm-hmm.
Money will come, but then again, you have to figure out first, what do you want to do. I mean, it might take time. It might take, some people don't, still struggle. They're 40, 50 years old in terms of what they want to do in a social sector. So figure out your dream in terms of what differences do you want to see in the communities that you work in, and with that then prepare your pathways and aim and follow through that. So
Mm-hmm.
that's very important. Figuring out how you can contribute and help.
Yes, that is great advice, especially for our youth, for our young people,
Hmm.
right? So that was it. Thank you for
Yeah,
being here, Mr. Pushkar. We
yeah,
have a small token of love from our
yeah,
team
great
to
stuff.
you.
All right, what do I get?
It's a picture painted of you.
Oh, thank you very much. Oh, great stuff. I did bring some stuff for you guys as well, so I guess I'll do that a little
Yes.
later, huh?
Okay.
Yeah.
So thank you everyone for watching. And as famously said, a good conversation just doesn't inform you, it also transforms you. Thank you for watching.
Thank you for having me. Yeah.